So finally, I get to do an interview in English because all Swedes, I don't get it. They don't know any English at all.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Michel Rayes, in Sweden we call you Michel,
That's right.
but in English we say Michael.
Well, it is Michel, but somehow in the Middle East, my name has switched to Michael, but it is still Michel. My birth name is Michel. It's always been Michel, but over there they like to call me Michael somehow.
Because they just read it and say what they read.
I think more because Michel is a very, it's a French name for girls and for guys, depending on the spelling. With a single L as my name is spelled.
Yeah, and with the E in the ending, it's
a girl name.
Yeah.
With an E in the end or a double L-E in the end, it becomes a girl's name.
Yeah.
But it's French originally. And in Lebanon, many people speak French. So when I was growing up there, many did not really, I didn't fit into the Michel being a Lebanese name or a French Lebanese name because of my appearance. And therefore, no, Michel, what's your name? Michel? Michel, no. Michael. No, my name is Michel. And then it just turned out to be Michael, and that's how it still goes, somehow.
All right. So I want to explain my version of your story. Then you can fill it all in from beginning to end. So you have been in my life since I was born. So I more or less call you my cousin. And many years later, I found out that you had an interest for cars. And we talked like 20 years after I've started to know you.
Yeah, because I was living abroad all these years, so we didn't have so much connection.
But still, even when you lived here, we didn't talk about cars.
True. That's true.
So that's fine. That's fun. So. We talk about is your dream car, a Mustang. So, and I understand that growing up in the 80s and the 5.0 Mustang, of course, it's a cool car. On a side, you buy one. Very nice. I'm glad for you. Absolutely fun. You tell me, I want to start drifting. All right, so you have your dream car now. So buy a cheap car like a Nissan S13 or Volvo or something. No, I want to drift with this one. Yeah, but a Mustang isn't right for drifting. No, but I want to drift with this one. But you have your dream car now. Buy a cheap car, because back then a Nissan 200 was like $2,000, more or less.
Yeah, true.
No, I bought this for drifting. Okay. And then very early, for some reason, I don't get it, you got us in a Nordic Championship competition.
Yes.
Very early.
That was in Sturup, right?
Yeah. But all right, I go with you.
Yeah.
And it went well, but you accidentally hit a wall.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big damage, but something small. And I thought, he bought his dream car. He thought he was going to go drift, and he crashed it right away. Oh, I felt so sorry for you. And I thought that was going to crash your dream. But no. You had plans.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do this. Well, easy. You just put a LSD diff on it or weld it or whatever and have fun with it. No, I'm going to do this. All right. And all of a sudden, a grown man quits his day job with a family and children and everything at home, quits his day job to start a drifting school as a rookie, more or less.
That's true.
Okay, all right. And it went very well.
It did.
Yeah. And the Mustang, you had plans from the beginning, and we talked about it, I'm going to buy another engine. No, just put a supercharger on it. It works well. No, I'm going to buy another engine. All right, if you want to. And then you tell me, I bought a Viper engine. Okay. Usually start with an LS Corvette engine or something, but all right. And I'm going to turbocharge it or supercharge it. Easy. But you did, and that car won awards at a car show, went to a TV game, and worldwide. And all of this is 5-year story, according to me.
Yeah.
But you tell your side of it.
Yeah. It's a bit longer than 5 years, but anyway, back to the start. I started very late with drifting.
But you can tell me your whole car interest from the beginning?
I can.
Because you told me many years ago,
Yeah.
and I understood that with the mountains and everything in Lebanon, and
Yeah.
but you tell.
So I'm born here in Sweden, as you know. I lived here my first 10 years, and then we moved to Lebanon. Me and my family, of course. And I grew up there. I had to learn the language.
So you didn't.
I did not speak
Aha.
Arabic before, no.
Okay, all right.
So when we moved there, I came to this private school, and the private schools there are several languages, so I had to learn Arabic, of course, and French, which I didn't know either. English I knew, so I had in school there was 3 languages:
Okay,
English,
so at
French,
10
and
years
Arabic.
old, all
At 10
right.
years old, exactly.
Okay.
And interest for cars I've had since I was very young. So since I was a young kid, I remember I used to play with cars, the small matchbox cars. I used to collect them. I used to have them. I had this carpet in my bedroom that's like a
Like
city.
all Swedes.
Like all Swedes,
Yeah.
exactly. The map, the city carpet.
Yeah.
And I used to drive my cars on that carpet, and they used to drift. Not drive normally, and my mom would tell me, this is not how cars drive. They go in the corner, they turn, and then they go straight again. They don't go like, and I was holding 2 cars, and I was like tandem drifting my
Okay.
cars as a very young kid, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. Anyway, so that's my interest from cars, and I remember when I was watching Starchy and Hutch and all of these Telly Savalas, all these 80s series on TV.
Where they drove American cars, American
Exactly,
shows. Yeah.
Exactly. V8 cars, they were not drifting, they were like sliding the cars through, chasing each other, and so. And from there, my interest started. Anyway, back to Lebanon and living there as a country that has not so many rules.
Okay.
Because of the unstable situation which has been in Lebanon for many years, the wars that has been ongoing. You don't have cops on the roads.
High speeds laws isn't that serious.
You don't have laws there.
Right.
To cut it short,
Okay,
you can drive approximately how you want. So very early age, everybody drives there. I learned how to drive when I was 12 years old. And of course not by my parents, but my friends taught me how to drive, and it was a very old Toyota Corolla, so of course we used to go to various places and find corners.
So the rear wheel driven
Yes,
Corolla.
exactly. Low powered car, so no extraordinary engine in that, but we used to find some corners where we could like slide the car or drift through the corner, 1 or 2 corners.
But it is the absolute original drift car.
Yes.
So in that way, it's the best car to start off with.
Exactly. It was not called drifting; we called it sliding at that time. A long time ago. And then my interest for motorsport started, and I had some friends in the rally scene in Lebanon that I used to follow, and we used to go and see them drive rally every year.
Okay. Like forest rally in the mountains?
Yes, in the mountains and different SSs all around Lebanon. And we used to go and cheer on them and see their results. And there was also very nice, because every time we was standing in a corner waiting for a rally car to pass, if it was a 4-wheel drive or a 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, we would all wait, and especially me, I would wait for it to come in sideways and drift itself through the corner. And that would give me such a rush somehow. So I knew I had a passion for sliding a car. I knew I loved the rear wheel thing. And growing up, I had some cars in Lebanon, and of course, I would take them to different places and try to drift them or slide them in various ways, roundabouts that was not trafficated, of course. The roads in the mountain that didn't have traffic, I would find different roads that don't have a passage.
Because that's one of the reasons why we Scandinavians are so good at drifting as well, because here we have forest everywhere,
all over, yeah. True.
where children can learn how to drive and learn
Exactly.
how to drift
Exactly,
at
Exactly.
like young teenagers.
exactly.
That is more or less common.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I thought that I could. I thought that I could drift, or that I was a good drifter, or
But everything is
driver.
relative. So
Exactly, everything's relative.
Yeah.
So I kept that with me for many years, of course. And then growing up, I could not do these stupid stunts on normal roads anymore, of course, because I have an age that's maturing, and then I moved back to Sweden, and I cannot do it in Sweden. I don't want to
Okay.
lose my license, of course.
Okay.
So
But your car interests were still there.
it was still there, but it, of course, disappeared a little bit because I was not following rally as I used to. The only thing I was doing before I started drifting was styling. I got a Nissan 100 NX.
Yeah, the
which
black
is
one.
Black one,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I did
yeah.
it in black matte and some
Yeah.
other stuff and so. But then I felt that time is flying and I'm getting older. I need to pursue my dream, as you said and mentioned before. And therefore the Mustang. I said I need a car that is durable, and I want a V8, and I want a car that will not break down because I don't know mechanics.
You always, or more or less for a long time, wanted that Fox Body Mustang.
I love the Fox Body.
Yeah.
Since way back, and of course, like you mentioned before, the 5.0 was a pretty famous icon car. Everything with Vanilla Ice doing it in his video.
Dayton
and
wheels
exactly,
on a 5.0.
exactly. So I did some research. I wanted a car that's durable, not only engine, transmission-wise, but suspension-wise and everything else. I didn't want a car that will break down if I'm going to start to drift.
Okay, because I thought it was the other way around, that you bought the Fox Body because you like the look of it and the image of it, not at all thinking about performance and how it holds up. And
It doesn't, yeah, I was thinking about of a car that I like. For me, the Fox Body is a very beautiful car.
Yeah.
I know in many eyes it looks very Ford Sierra and ugly-like and so on. But in my eyes, it's like an icon car, and I like it. And nowadays, those cars are very attractive on many websites as classic cars, and their prices are sky high.
more or less, as soon as a car turns 30,
It starts getting
Yeah.
interesting for people. But my goal was to get the car that I liked, and my bigger goal was actually to start drifting a car that will be able to handle the
okay,
drift.
so that was your
Yes.
plan. All okay.
But not as a performance car, as a not breaking down car.
Used to have fun. Yeah.
I just want to have
Yeah.
fun. I just want to
So
learn
instead
how
of
to
a S13 or a Volvo 240,
drift. Yeah,
and still ended up with the Mustang.
exactly. I
So
ended up with the
you
Mustang.
did your research
Yeah.
and still ended up with the Mustang. Okay.
Exactly. And for various reasons, because I don't want it to break down, and because I liked the car from before and I wanted a V8, but also because I don't know how to fix a car. I don't have tools. I'm not good under the hood. In my years abroad,
At least back then.
back then and
Yeah.
still today, actually, if I
But
want to be
we
frank.
are in
Yeah,
your
I
own
mean,
workshop.
we are, but I don't do the mechanical job still.
okay.
I can do a lot, of course, compared to before, but I'm not a mechanic. I can never say that I'm
As
a
I
good
say,
mechanic.
I am a theoretical, in theory, I'm a mechanic.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
I don't like to get my hands dirty.
I understand. I have no problem getting my hands dirty, but I don't have the right competence to be able to do hard stuff under the hood, especially engine-wise. I can tell me
And
to remove
even
it.
though,
Yeah,
now we jump in like 10 years,
yeah,
you have a custom built car with engine swap, supercharger, turbocharger, I don't remember,
Yeah.
Viper engine.
yeah,
All right, all right.
yeah. I've had many cars during my years. So this is now we're 2008, 2009. I actually started to drift. 2008, I got
Was
the
it
first
that
Mustang. Yeah.
late? I thought it was earlier, actually.
2000
When did you buy the Fox?
2008.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
In 2009, I started drifting it.
Yeah.
So the first year I was just like trying it out. I took it down to Malmö Raceway.
But it
tried
was a
on the
very
street.
short year,
Yes.
according to me at least.
Yes, yes.
I don't think it was a full 12 months.
Yeah, no,
No.
it wasn't. No, of course
No,
not.
yeah.
So that's how it started with the Mustang. And of course, it has no handling. The whole chassis is just wavy
Wobbly,
as a big
yeah.
boat, so it has no performance whatsoever. So it was shit to drift. It had no LSD, so you couldn't. It was one wheel spin, so I needed help with welding the diff. It has no steering angle. It's the car with the least steering angle
Okay.
possible compared to
So
any
this
any
whole
other car.
thing that American cars only need to drive straight, that
Yes,
is true.
It is true.
Okay.
And they're made only for US
Yeah.
roads. I mean, larger. You cannot do a normal U-turn in Sweden with the Fox Body. If it's a normal road in town, you cannot do a U-turn.
Yeah.
You have to do like back forth to get it back. So it was a very bad car. To come to that, it was my dream car, and the car that I thought is going to help me learn to drift.
You
but-
had the experience. You had the experience of the Toyota Corolla and other cars.
Yeah.
You did your research
Yes.
and still ended up.
It failed.
Still
It
ended
failed
up
bad.
with a Mustang.
Yes, yes. I ended up with a Mustang, and I had a hell of a time on the tracks when I started to drift. It was very hard. I was struggling. The things I thought I know was like not working on the track, because drifting in before or like sliding the car, which I used to do, I don't call it drifting then, but it was never several corners connected. It was one or two corners.
That I don't know that how you had it in Lebanon, but I'm guessing in the mountains, etc. That kind of road compared to an asphalt track road,
Yes,
of
it's
course, is a huge difference.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
Grip-wise, and also connecting the cars, like connecting several corners is one thing, and maneuvering the car professionally is one thing, and just want to be a drifter on a mountain road, thinking you are like Daigo or somebody else, like maneuvering the car.
You have to start somewhere.
Somewhere you have to start.
Yeah.
But I thought that I could, and I thought I knew a lot. It turns out it didn't. So when I started to drift with that Mustang in Sweden, on the tracks, I had it only on the tracks drifting, not any road drifting, of course. It took me a hell lot of time to become, or to understand, to really understand the drifting fundamentals. It was hard. I was struggling a lot with a lot of failures. And the info before was very limited, not as today. Now you can open internet and just how do I drift, and you'll get 1,000 videos and researches on what to do.
Even though I think that 2010 is kind of late, it was actually, compared to today, it was really early.
Yeah.
Because I was at the first Galtebil events around like 07, 08. Nobody knew about them.
Yeah.
And there was mostly track day.
Yeah.
And like 1 hour during the whole day,
Of little
you
drifting.
can do whatever you want.
Yes.
They didn't even call it drifting,
No.
like free track use.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And people would slide it out the corner a little bit. Yeah.
And that is only like 15 years ago.
Yeah. It is late in Europe. I mean, in Japan, this has been going on for over 40 years now.
Yeah, yeah.
In the States for maybe 30 or at least 25 years. So Europe is a bit late. And but it's here now. It's here to stay. And just look at, we have the Drift Masters Championship going on in Europe. It's going to be...
So Scandinavia, we count it as one. Norway and Sweden, same. Started kind of late, got really good, really fast, and now like world famous. And same with you. Started, according to me, started late, started with the wrong car, and then putting your whole life in a drifting school.
Yeah, that was fun actually. I started the drifting school for one reason only. It was because I had such a hard time my first 2 years drifting.
Yeah.
And people saw that on the track. I was struggling. I had spin outs, and I was hitting cones, and I was not hitting the the drift zones, and I was losing in competitions, and I had a very, very hard time. A lot of struggling.
Do you
And
think that was because of the car, or
Yes,
because that you thought that you were better than you actually were?
that is one thing. I thought I was better. I thought I knew a lot of techniques, which turned out that I really didn't know.
Yeah.
I knew them somehow, but I didn't knew them spot on.
By the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the car was not helping me either, of course. So it was minus and minus there.
Yeah.
But slowly I started to learn more and more. Feedback from some drivers that I met, feedback from an online chat that was about drifting.
What was that?
Sideways.nu.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember it a bit.
There was a lot talking about drifting. And I found some people on Garage.nu,
yeah.
and they were not so helpful there somehow.
And
It's hard.
And same with all the forums, Swedish forums back then. We had Satsi.
Yes, I heard about that one.
Yeah,
also,
and
yeah.
you ask a simple question, you get 10 stupid answers,
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
don't want to help you.
Exactly.
And 10 completely guessing answers.
Exactly.
So I say to all the new ones, stay away from forums. And same now today with Facebook group. Stay away from them.
Yeah, there is now it's easy to get answers elsewhere. But as you say, people were not so cooperative back then.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was I was struggling a lot. Anyway, after a few years, I started winning some competitions, which was very fun. I was understanding.
What was the first big one that you felt, I'm a champion?
I think it was we had a series in south of Sweden which was called South of Sweden Championship, something like this. It was in Hässleholm or Bivaröd airfield.
Yeah, with the cones, not a real track.
It was this airfield.
Yeah.
And there was like a few cones, zones, roundabouts. It was an okay track for beginners to start out. And most cars were underpowered, of course.
And they had Kronbanan, vad heter det på engelska?
Cone track.
Yeah, cone track as well.
Yes,
And
they had that for time attack.
I was there with you.
Yes, I recall.
And I focused on that part,
Yes.
and you with the drifting.
Exactly.
And it was more or less 90% cone racing and 10% of the drifters.
Yes, that's true. So that's where I was evolving as a drifter or as a driver, where I was learning a lot about how to handle the car, and also I got help from a few friends that I met online, which is now a very good friend and a teammate of mine, Irvin. He was
so he was with you that early?
He was online with me.
Online, but
because he lived in Lithuania.
Yeah.
He was also drifting a Fox Body.
So forums are good anyway.
Yeah, that forum was a good forum. It was an American forum where I met Irvin, and Irvin was in Lithuania, and he was already drifting the same car. So I got a lot of
Mustang as well.
Exactly. Okay. So we were the only two Mustangs.
More or less in the world.
Well, not in the world. In the States, there were many drifting that Fox Body.
Okay.
In Canada as well. Okay. But of course, in Europe, it's a very rare car, not so popular, and the chassis is not built for any track or drifting whatsoever.
There are cheaper and easier and better cars.
Of course.
As you say
of
that.
Course.
Yeah.
Of course. And there, about then, I decided to start the academy, because when I evolved. After a few years, I got a lot of feedback from people that was also in the drift scene, that was asking me, "How did you do that? How did you do that? You had always trouble with that. How did you manage to do that?"
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I remember. That after you openly told people, "I'm not good at this. Teach me. I want to learn." Other people realized it's okay to ask for help.
Exactly.
It's okay to say that I'm not the best in the world.
Exactly. And that's how it started. So I started the academy as a small.
When was it? 2011, maybe?
This is
12?
20. Yes, exactly. 2011, I started the academy.
Yeah.
I started it, and 2012, I think it was up and running with
So
cars
as
and
I
everything.
said, 5 years more or less.
Yeah, exactly. But it was very fun because I had the chance to teach people the mistakes that I was doing in the beginning, because it was so obvious of some mistakes many people do on and on and on, and you don't know them if somebody don't pinpoint them to you.
And there you had this whole image that you were the Fox Body drifting guy. So when you started a school for drifters to learn how to drift, you buy a Fox Body Mustang again.
Actually, I used my first car, which is my dream car that I bought 2008.
All right, so it has been with you all the time.
It's been with me, and that became the first academy car because I had.
But then it was prepared for drifting.
Yes, then it had.
But I remember you had another one as well that wasn't as prepared for drifting.
For the academy?
Yeah.
I had 3, yeah.
Okay, 3. Okay.
3 Fox Buddies in the academy. I did the first one, which is Pony 1, which is my first car or pony, and then Pony 2, second one, and then a third one. So I had 3 more or less identical. The only
okay. I thought there were like 3 different stages.
No.
Okay.
They were identical in setup, suspension-wise, horsepower-wise, everything except that the third one was a notch. It was not a hatchback, so it was a coupe. So 2 hatchbacks, identical, and the third one was
all right.
was an older version.
Because I thought that was sort of upgrading at the school. Start with the bad, maybe the easy one, or the other way. I don't know, and then ended up with the pro.
No.
Or starting with the pro and ended up with the bad one.
No, I didn't have that. The only thing I had was when we did a TV show with Alexander Hermansson for SVT. Then we had that show that he was supposed to learn in the academy cars, one of them, and then his goal was to be able to drift at that time, my competition car, which was Drift Patrol, and that's the car that I imported from the US. That was the black and white police car.
Yeah.
So that car I had actually as my second drift car after the Pony one, which was the first one since 2008.
Yeah.
So there is Pony one, then there is Drift Patrol, which is my second drift car, black and white. And then Pony 2, which was a second academy car, Pony 3, which is a third academy car, and then Vipox came in the picture.
So the one that you bought already built, how was it different from the car that you built?
You mean the
black and white one?
The black and white one, Drift Patrol from the US. It was different, well, not so different then, because then I had upgraded my car pretty much. The only difference was that it had more power.
Okay.
Apart from that, we had full roll cage. We had much more steering angle also, because Irvin had already done own steering kits for the Fox Body chassis that we were having on all my cars, and we were even selling those kits abroad.
Yeah, because that was my question, because the US and Canada must have got eyes on this. Also wanted to buy some things.
Exactly. And steering kits at that time was very new. People didn't know so much about it. There was no Wisefab was not even didn't even start by that time.
So with the patrol car, were there anything on that one that you bought already built that you teached or got you to change your own car, your first car? Were something better with the ready built bought one than on your own?
Not really. Maybe
more. So your amateur built car
Yeah.
were just as good as the pro built ready.
Yeah, because already also I had done all the upgrades that Drift Patrol had done before I even got it here.
Yeah.
So the previous owner of Drift Patrol, Dan Pina, which is the first Fox Body drifter in the world, which had that Drift Patrol car drifting in Formula Drift for many years. I had a very good contact with him, and he already gave me a lot of tips on what to do. So together with him and Irvin and the different forums I was on, I had already upgraded my first Mustang to a pretty good level.
Yeah, with a pro recipe.
Yes, exactly. And that's how it went. So Drift Patrol stays with me for many, many years. And I'm using it and drifting it and also learning on it. We change engine on it and I get more power again because you always want more power. I've been drifting like for a few years with 200, 230 horsepowers. You want more. Drift Patrol came with 350 horsepowers. We changed engine. I got 400, 450. Then we got 500, 600 and so on and so forth. So getting more power and evolving the car is a part of the game. And that's when we arrived to a limit where Fox Buddies, you can't do more with them.
Yeah, and
it is what it is.
That's where I'm wondering with Vipox. It's a huge step.
Yeah.
What made you go that huge step?
Vipox is a different story, actually. Vipox, well, during the academy, I was instructing there for almost 9 years, I would say. And Irvin, my teammate as well, he was also working with me there. So he moved from Lithuania over here with his, at the time, girlfriend, which is now his wife, and they have kids. And we were instructing at the academy. And we had loads of bookings, and we were like doing a really, really good job.
Yeah.
Not only helping people into the drift scene, but giving them an amazing experience.
Yeah, and also, as I saw it, making drifting okay for people that aren't into drifting.
Exactly.
So the normal Svensson, the normal guy that thought that drifting were just something bad that you did out in the streets at night, etc., etc. Your school that was open for anybody made it a green card, we made it acceptable for the normal people.
And that's what we wanted to do also. We wanted to give out the info to everybody that drifting is not taboo. Drifting is not a bad thing. Drifting is a motorsport.
Taboo was a good word, because before your school, it was only, if you only said, I'm doing drifting,
it was very,
it's a taboo.
Everybody looked down at it. And that's why the academy actually did very good, because it was something very new. We were the only drifting academy in Scandinavia.
I don't even know if there is another one today.
There is, like, I think there is somebody in Norway that started a few years back, but that's about it. But the thing was that we opened a lot of doors for many people, like you say, people that had no idea, that just had got it as a present, you know, because they took a graduation, or because they turned 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, or a company would come like with their employees and have a kickoff, and and I would explain the drifting, the history of drifting, and how it has evolved, and what it is today, and how you compete. Oh, this is how you compete. You chase each other. Oh, there are zones. I had no idea. I just thought you go out on the track and burn tires and do burnouts. No, it's not burnouts. It's not donuts. It's a motorsport, maneuvering the car from A to B in different lines.
The stupid thing is, like in the movie Initial D, where he has his father's car that are built for drifting, and he buys a similar one and thinks he can drift. And he understands that this is completely wrong. And sometimes I've had passengers with me, and I accidentally do some drift somewhere. And they try to do it themselves in their own car by themselves. And it's disaster. So that's why your school was so good, because there I had an opportunity to tell people, if you want to try drifting, there is the perfect place for it. You have the ready car, you have the ready track, you have the ready instructor. Don't try it on the street. You have the perfect place right there.
We had everything. We had the helmets, the suits, the info, the know-how.
It was as easy as to go and drive a go-kart.
It was as
You
easy.
just pay,
Yeah. Just pay
borrow
and
a
just-
helmet
yeah,
and
exactly.
suit. Yeah.
Exactly. And it was even better than that because the instructor would sit beside you
Yeah.
and look at you drifting
And tell you
and
what you're
tell
doing
you
wrong.
exactly
Yeah.
what is right, what is wrong on the spot. So you would delete your mistakes instantly, which would make you progress. I mean, we've had over 1,500 or even closer to 2,000 students during these years, and they would come, and during one day at the academy, some people would come, they don't even know what a rear wheel drive is. We would explain, okay, we have Mustangs downstairs, we're going to learn how to drift, and then we would show a few videos and explain that the rear wheel spins, and
spins.
people were, well, you mean the front wheel? No, this is Mustangs, they're rear wheel driven. Oh, we didn't know there were rear wheel driven cars. Some people don't even know that there is that available, So, but to make this story very, very short, people not even understanding what an e-brake is, more than you use it for parking, or not knowing that a car can spin rear wheels, at the end of the day, they would be having the car sideways through the whole track and doing like figure eights and initiations and all kinds of drift techniques. And it's hard for them to even understand what's going on and how much they have evolved in one day.
Yeah, because they don't have your many years of bad experience.
Exactly.
Because they learn it the right way with the right car right away. Day one.
Exactly.
But you have one of the guys that learned with you, that started with you when you were a bad drifter, turned out to be really good. Rasmus Miller.
Rasmus Miller, oh yeah.
So he's a perfect example.
Exactly.
That a young kid
Oh,
starting with somebody that likes the drifting more than he are able to do it. And it turns out great.
Yeah, oh yeah. Rasmus has been with me for many, many years. He was actually, when I started out drifting, 2009 and 2010, he was drifting himself, but in a go-kart. At our tracks, he would go out during the breaks and drift a go-kart. And showcase, like fill up the lunch hour with doing some stunts on the track. And very sure we became close friends already then, and he started to help me with mechanics on my car, help me change tires and other things. And since then we have been teammates and very good friends, and now he's one of Sweden's most known drifters. And not only him, I can mention at least 10 or 15 more drifters that have been to the academy and now are drifting in the biggest tracks all over Scandinavia. And it's like you said, it's a shortcut into the motorsport. It's a shortcut. You don't, instead of wasting a year or two learning everything.
It is the right shortcut.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
It's the right way.
Exactly. So those were very, very good years. We had a lot of fun. It was a hard job because sitting in the car, instructing this when the car is moving sideways, especially when the person doesn't know how to drift in the beginning, so you don't have a nice flow in the car.
Yeah, because a normal man or girl thinks it's really weird when the car goes sideways. Something is wrong when the car goes sideways.
Exactly.
And that's a normal.
Exactly. So those were very good years. But back to Vipox.
Yeah, because I wanted to jump to the
Yes,
to
Vipox is actually one of our students that wanted a car. After coming to the academy and taking all our levels, he became a tremendous good drifter, and we offered him to build him a car.
Because I thought it was Pony One.
No.
Okay.
So Vipox is a totally different car.
All right.
So there's Pony 1, there's Pony 2, there's Pony 3, there is Drift Patrol, and there's Vipox.
Okay.
So it's 5 Fox Buddies. So Vipox was actually bought as a drag race car. Well, it was a chassis, rolling chassis for a drag race, old drag race car. And then the engine and transmission and all of that was bought from the US. And that was a car that Irvin started to build for one of our customers that was coming to the academy for several times. So he wanted to learn he wanted his own car by that time because he has become so good a drifter. So he was ready to own his own car, but he don't have the time to build it or the know-how. So that's where we came in. And,
So he
and did
went
it.
to you to learn it.
Yes.
And to get the car built.
Yes.
So you just key ready. You just go out drifting. All right.
Exactly. And then something happened during the build where he had different circumstances, so he had to discontinue the build. And he asked me if I was interested in buying the unready Fox Body with a Viper engine.
Okay, so he was the one that decided the Viper engine.
Irvin was
All
the
right,
one.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, all right.
Irvin
all
said
right.
it would be cool to have a real
Absolutely
big,
cool.
Yeah.
Maybe not smart, but cool.
Yeah. No, you want the torque in drifting, you know? You want the torque and
But the LS engine is
yeah, but
90% as
but
torquey.
the fun thing about drifting, as you know, compared to all motorsports, drifting is almost the only motorsport where you can build any car with any engine without any regulations.
Everything works, yeah.
Everything, anything in your fantasy you can do. There are no rules about what, where, how. I mean, as long as it's a safe car and you follow the rules of safetiness, you can build any car with any engine or any transmission. And that's pretty cool, because that's how you go in the pit stop and you look at all the cars. They all look different and different setups. So that's how it came to Vipox. So I bought the car from him, and then I decided I want to do something cool with it.
But when you decided to buy Vipox, had anybody seen it except from you guys?
No.
No.
It was in our garage, so it was only like, it was far from ready. But of course, when I decided to take over the build, I wanted to do something extraordinary, because I've already had Vipoxes, Fox Bodies, with various engines. Because in my Drift Patrol, I've had like 2-3 different engines in it. 4-liter V8. I've had a Chevy engine from
5.7 more or less.
Yes, from the what are they called? Those.
Yeah, but it is probably a LT or a LS engine.
Yeah. Yes, with a carburetor.
All right. So, yeah.
The
so
old
LT,
the old engines that used to
so L98
Camaro Cup.
maybe.
Camaro
yeah,
Cup.
so L98 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Good engine. Yeah.
So yeah, having various engines in different Fox Bodies, and now the V10 in Vipox, and that's how we turned out to deciding to make something very different with it.
So how come? Of course, it's a cool thing. It's a unusual car to have as a drift car, an unusual engine and the mix and everything. But how come it got so world famous before you even started to use it?
I don't know. Maybe because the different setup of having a root blower on a V10.
Because the car show here in Malmö,
Yeah.
I don't think you had even started the engine back then.
Yeah. No.
You just roll it in.
Well, in Elmia it debuted. The premiere was in Elmia,
Okay.
2017. That's when we uncovered the car for the first time.
Okay.
And then it was not start ready.
Yeah.
It became start ready.
So Malmö
after
was
Elmia.
the same year.
It was the same year later.
Like winter, December or
Yes,
something. Yeah.
End
okay.
of summer, yeah, or something.
Because you won awards on both Elmia and Malmö, I think. I don't know.
I won. I don't really know. I have all the pokals here somewhere. We can check. But I have won some awards of nominerad till Årets bil. I was nominated. I didn't win it.
Yeah, but still, it's a
in
very
Elmia.
big thing. It's a very big thing to be nominated for
sure,
that.
Sure.
So that's an award in
Yeah.
itself. So from being new with drifting and having the wrong car and the wrong engine, etc., to having a world famous car.
Yeah.
Without it being start ready.
Exactly. So.
And all of this in less than 10 years.
Yeah. It's true. Well, it sounds pretty cool, but it's also
a lot of work, of course.
There is a lot of sweat and tears behind all
and
of
a lot
this,
of money.
Of course. Yes, indeed. But it's fun to say that it's like famous or whatever we want to call it, but still the car has not shown itself. Still the car has not been able to go on a track and kick ass or do
And
some.
that's because of the engine.
Because we had failures, yes, with the Viper engine several times. And therefore now we have done a big swap again. So we don't have the Viper engine anymore. Now it's an LS engine with a twin turbo, and it's in the making, and hopefully we will have it ready by the end of summer, maybe during winter, start it up and dyno it and make it ready for at least next season. So finally we can see Vipox in action, because
And
this
time
project,
with proven engine.
yes, exactly.
That we have thousands of examples of people
Exactly.
using the same recipe and have
Exactly.
it to work years after years after
And
years.
that is one of the reasons that we decided to get rid of the setup that we had. It was like reinventing the wheel for again. We didn't. I mean, there is no need for that. There are so good recipes on so many different engines, and especially the LS engine. So
I absolutely get your point with drifting and rules, that you can build whatever you want and that is a fun thing. But if you want to have a car that works,
yeah.
there is no wrong at all to go with a recipe that
Oh no.
thousands of others have used for years after years after years.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing with our cars nowadays. We go for no recipes. We've learned from our mistakes, and we have learned from other drivers' mistakes. And now it's so easy to get all the info you need on all the forums or all the social media available. And people nowadays post their failures and their good things, and you just pick and match and do your own mixes and do the best of it. So
And that is weirdly, because all kind of racing has been for like hundreds of years, but people sharing their bad experience and failures, that is a new thing.
Oh yeah.
That is so crazy.
I agree.
When I built my car many years ago now, like 15 years, 18 years ago, there were a man stealing my recipe without me knowing it. He contacted my US dealer and he said, I want everything that Pierre has bought. And I did not know about this. And he...
Lack of imagination, yeah.
And he tried to do what I did and failed.
Yeah.
And didn't ask for my help. Didn't say, hey, I really like your car. I would like to have the same thing.
He was just trying to do...
He was failing year after year after year in secretly, instead of just asking me.
And you would have helped him, of course.
Absolutely. It would be super cool. So that with helping people in Sweden, that is kind of new. Weirdly, it's kind of new.
It is, but I feel exactly what you're saying.
And especially
I understand.
From my point of view, that haven't been in drifting, my experience of drifters were like, they were fighting about the sponsoring.
Yeah.
So they did not want to help each other.
Yeah.
I were at I think it was a Galtabil event, and one guy had some easy problem, I don't know, changing a tire or something, but he didn't have the tools. And there were like 10 guys with tools, and nobody helped him.
Yeah.
That's where I realized people really see each other like competition.
Yeah.
Not friends, only competition.
When was this?
Maybe those 10 years ago, maybe.
Because it's not like this anymore.
No. Maybe 8 or 10 years ago. So quite a long time ago. And the only conclusion I could get to is that they are fighting about the sponsors, because back then drifting was new. It wasn't so many people want to sponsor drifting because it was a silly thing.
Yeah, true. It was not taken seriously.
No.
So very few companies would actually help or support drifters, and those few, everybody was fighting for them.
Yeah.
And that's what I can relate to, because that is one thing which also generates a lot of jealousy.
Exactly.
Between drivers, and I can say that I've experienced a tremendous amounts of jealousy towards me or us as a team throughout the years, either because of sponsors that we have or don't have, either because of me not being 100% Swede or not. Oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. I have to say this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I'm even mentioning it.
No. Of course you should. I
But
could
there is
not
a,
expect that
oh
at
no
all.
no, there is a lot of that.
Okay.
Still until this day, and people watch you and know everything you do, but they will never leave a comment about you. They will never give you feedback on the track. And I would do the opposite when I see somebody
Yeah.
doing a cool, wow, this engine you put in your car,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because I say what I see, and I say what I feel. If I see something good or I want to comment on something, either if it's live or if it's online, I do it.
Yeah, because as I explain the whole thing about having cars as a hobby, even if it's a stance or styling or racing or drifting, whatever it is, it's a perfect opportunity to get new friends.
Of course,
That's usually what I say.
of course.
And we notice that a lot in Sweden. We have a guy that never looked good, never were good with basketball or football or anything, never was strong, but he buys a car and now he got new friends.
Yeah.
And it works like that.
Yeah.
So that's why, because this had been like this for many years.
Yeah.
And drifting came in the middle of it and was a small part of it and completely different from all other motor hobbies.
Yes.
But now it's the same. Friends and you help each other and
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, people help each other, and people are there, and especially if you look at events like Gatebil or competitions, people that are in need of a part, people will actually remove a part from their car. If, let's say, they're not drifting anymore and you need it to continue drifting, they will
okay,
remove
so you
it and
borrow.
yeah, you borrow, or
okay.
they give it to you because my car got a broken transmission, so I can't drive it anyway. Take my belt so you can continue your event. So no, that is a lot. People help each other a lot, especially in I mean, I've seen Norwegians and Danish, they're very, very open to helping each other, and so
more than the Swedes.
much more than Swedes,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom's Swedish, and I have nothing against Swedes, but they are somehow a bit more. It's me, myself, and I, and you are there, and very good. You can be there,
and that's what I thought was so weird, because back then, over 10 years ago, there weren't any money in drifting.
No.
So why are you going into a car hobby that only costs you money? You are not winning friends. You are not winning famous. You are not getting money. I couldn't get that at all. I couldn't understand that at all. But 10 years later, Gatebil is one of the biggest, coolest events in the world.
Oh yeah.
And
Indeed.
when I started, it was focused on time attack, track day, track racing, and you had amateurs, etc., etc. And then, like 1 hour of the day, you had the drifting, and now it's completely opposite.
Oh yeah, it's grown, and it's just gonna grow more, I think. Now the finals, if you look at Drift Masters, which is the biggest competition in Europe for drifting, the finals are going to be in Poland, in Warsaw, and they are actually going to asphalt the whole football arena. In Warsaw, there is a very huge football arena. I forgot the name of it. So that football arena is going to be asphalted and is going to be a drifting track. And already now, this is like in September, middle of September, the finals is going to be. Already now they have sold like 45,000 tickets. So, and the arena takes like 58, 59, almost 60,000 people. So you can imagine that people want to see this, and people are up for it and understanding it and loving it. And now if you look at car commercials, there is not a car commercial that doesn't have a drift scene somewhere in it.
I mean, like the new Nissan Z, 400Z.
Yeah.
we have a professional drifter as the PR guy. The commercial is all about drifting.
Yeah.
And this is a car that's mostly going to sell to older gentlemen, more or less.
Yes.
But yeah, drifting has completely taken over. Completely.
It is. It's taken over.
Yeah.
Somehow. It's a thrill to drift. It is. It doesn't matter how you think or twist it all around. Racing has its own thrill. Rally has its own thrill, and drifting has its own thrill. And I think why drifting is so attractive, not only for the drivers, because you can build how much horsepower you want with whatever engine, as we mentioned, whatever car, but it's also very attractive as a show for all the spectators.
Yeah, and that's why I don't even like to compare drifting and, let's say, time attack.
Yeah,
because
you
if you don't know about cars in general, maybe you're on a track and you have a car with a lot of horsepower. But if you know a little bit about cars, it's night and day. It's completely different. So we have time attack series in Sweden as well, and I find it very hard that they will sell tickets for only viewers. But drifting, a lot of viewers. So it's a completely different thing. But if you are in it for the fun of it, I don't want to say it's an easy part of the motor hobby, but it is a little bit easier than, let's say, time attack, because you can buy whatever car you want that is rear wheel driven. And you just do your thing.
Exactly. You can. I mean, if you want to start a motorsport, drifting is actually the cheapest, because you can buy a car for almost nothing and just have a good time on a small track and just enjoy that car with whatever it has.
And the same day you can be on the same track as watching the pros. And 2 hours later you're at the track and doing what you can.
Exactly. And that's what opens many doors for people that want to start. And that was one of the things we would tell people at the academy. If you guys want to start, it is easy to start drifting. Then it's not everybody that continues, that they buy a car.
It's still a lot of money, because everything is cheap in the beginning.
And then it goes.
You start with an old BMW or Volvo or whatever, old tires. But quickly,
it runs away quickly. And people understand that and back off. But at least they have tried it. And that's the fun part of it. So you can start easy and you can start cheap, and then it's up to each and everyone to just keep it on a simple level.
So if you would recommend a complete rookie, is the academy still open? No.
I closed it before the Corona approximately. To 2018, 2019 we closed.
And is there anything like step one? What is step one today?
If you want to start.
Or just try, or just experience.
I mean, experience is hard because you can get a ride along, I would say, if you would go to one of the tracks like Gatebil or Sturup Raceway or any other event where there is drifting taking place.
I would say actually step one is only go and watch it live.
Exactly. See it.
And
live.
there we have Gatebil event that we have in the main event in Norway, that is marvelous.
Huge.
And we have a really good one as well in Mantorp, Sweden.
Or two in Mantorp, two in Norway.
In September as well. So midsummer and September.
Exactly. You have a total of 5 Gatebil events. One in Vålerbanan, then you have Mantorp, then you have Rudskogen, Mantorp. So
do they have the winter event still?
No, they stopped that one. The ice, Gatebil on ice, they stopped that one. But that's a very good start, to go see it live. Or to go to a local drift event if it's hard to get to those big tracks, and see drifting live, and then of course, if possible, if they know a driver or know somebody in a team, to ask for a ride along if they can be a passenger, so they can get a feeling of what it is to sit in the car. But then again, if they want to start drifting, of course, find a local track where it's cheap to try out your car, and then don't go expensive. Just like you said, cheap
Yeah.
BMW, cheap Volvo, something with 150, 200 horsepowers, just to have some good time and to see how the car maneuvers and learn the techniques of drifting. And with the help of the internet, you can learn a lot of techniques just by watching different YouTube channels and so on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but that is, of course, there are millions of drifting videos now.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
Nowadays there are.
Yeah.
But of course, if people want to learn fast, then searching up an academy is also an option. And there is an academy in Bulgaria. There's another academy in Norway, and that's what I know.
Yeah.
There are sure maybe else.
But I would say step one is visit Gatubil,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because
Of course.
even if
That
you
is a
have the
must.
slightest car interest,
Yeah.
in no matter if it's time attack or styling or whatever,
Anything.
Gatubil is a
Anything,
great
yes.
event.
Oh yeah.
It's a great event.
Oh yeah.
And now at Elmia, the custom motor show,
Yeah.
they have drifting all weekend as well outside. I
Yes,
have
they do.
actually not even seen it,
Yeah.
but this year there were more people, because I think you could buy a ticket for only outdoors.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there were more people outdoors
Yes,
than
yeah.
indoors.
Yeah. That's it. That's the biggest proof that drifting has become so popular.
Yeah.
2011, I did with my Pony One, with my Mustang, the first one I had. I was asked, or I offered them to do a drift show, and that was actually with red smoke tires. There were, I think, I was almost one of the first to drift
With the
red
colored
smoke.
tires. Yeah,
Colored tires.
Yeah.
I got them from UK, and I drifted them in Sturup once, and then it was Elmia, and I said that we should try these, and they had like Terry Grant doing a stunt show.
Yeah, with the small cars.
With the small cars,
yeah.
and then he would drive an old Peugeot on two wheels on
Yeah.
the side, and he did a lot of stunts, and then some motorcycle stunt, and then I would.
But
get
now
the track.
it's only drifting.
Now it's only
Yeah,
drifting
yeah.
all the time. So it's growing, and it's very fun to be a part of it and see how huge it has become during the years, and to see how the cars have evolved, and the drivers, most of all, how talented drivers there are today, how close they drive to each
Well,
other.
because of course I've had an interest in drifting, and I tried it, and it went well. But then I've focused mainly on time attack.
Yeah,
So I took a pause from it, let's
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
And now when I'm talking with you again, I realize, but hey, it's very, very different in ages, in sexes. We have women pros and men. So it's like open for anyone.
anybody.
Anybody.
Exactly.
Any age, any whatever.
Exactly.
And more or less any budget, more or less.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah, it's fun. So anything else? What is your next step to get Vipox ready? Of course.
Vipox, hoping to get ready by this year or end of this year.
You mentioned
and,
something about Japan. Are you going with that car to Japan, or did I misunderstand that?
No,
No, all
that's
right,
no,
all right.
no plan. The
Okay.
girl that came to us from Japan, that was with us in Gatebil,
Okay, okay,
she's from China, but she's competing in Japan
okay.
with her car.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. So I think this is it.
Thank you.
I'm happy with
Thank you
this.
for having me.
Thank you for telling your story.